Well, since the next assignment you have to work with is Animal Farm by George Orwell, the novel by George Orwell, and such a novel is full of political propaganda, as you might have already read. So I would like to present you with some propaganda techniques, and then later ask you in the assignment to find some of the techniques used in the novel. So to start, it's a good thing to define what is propaganda, and then we can say that propaganda is the manipulation of public opinion. It is generally carried out through media that is capable of reaching a large amount of people and effectively persuading them for or against a cause. It is material which is meant to persuade or change public opinion. It varies in form and techniques, but it serves the same purpose. It is communication for the purpose of persuasion. So the first technique of propaganda that we can see just in this slide is assertion. An assertion is an enthusiastic or energetic statement presented as a fact, although it is not necessarily true. Examples of assertion can be found often in modern advertising propaganda. Anytime an advertiser states that their product is the best without providing evidence for this, they are using an assertion. Assertions, although usually simple to spot, are often dangerous forms of propaganda because they often include falsehoods or lies. The next, bandwagon. Bandwagon is an appeal to the subject to follow the crowd, to join in because others are doing so as well. It is essentially trying to convince the subject that one side is the winning side, because more people have joined it. Since the average person always wants to be on the winning side, he or she is compelled to join in. Our next technique would be called card-taking. Card-taking, or selective omission, involves only presenting information that is positive to an idea or proposal and omitting information contrary to it. Card-taking is used in almost all forms of propaganda and is extremely effective in convincing the public. Although the majority of information presented by the card-taking approach is true, it is dangerous because it omits important information. Glittering generalities. It occurs very often in politics and political propaganda. Glittering generalities are words that have different positive meaning for individual subjects, but are linked to highly valued concepts. When these words are used, they demand approval without thinking, simply because such an important concept is involved. For example, when a person is asked to do something in defense of a democracy, they are more likely to agree. The concept of democracy has a positive connotation to them because it is linked to a concept that they value. Words often used as glittering generalities are honor, glory, love of country, and especially in the United States, freedom. Our next technique, called lesser of two evils. The lesser of two evils technique tries to convince us of an idea or proposal by presenting it as the least offensive option. This technique is often implemented during wartime to convince people of the need for sacrifices or to justify difficult decisions. This technique is often accompanied by adding blame on an enemy country or on an enemy country or political group. Our next technique would be called name-calling. It is the use of derogatory language or words that carry a negative connotation when describing an enemy. The propaganda attempts to arouse prejudice among the public by labeling the target something that the public dislikes. Often, name-calling is employed using sarcasm and ridicule and shows up often in political cartoons or writings. Our next technique: pinpointing the enemy. Pinpointing the enemy is used extremely often during wartime and also in political campaigns and debates. This is an attempt to simplify a complex situation by presenting one specific group or person as the enemy. Although there may be other factors involved, the subject is urged to simply view the situation in terms of clear-cut right and wrong. Our next technique: plain folks. The plain folk device is an attempt by the propagandist to convince the public that his views reflect those of the common person and that they are also working for the benefit of the common person. Also, the propagandist, especially during speeches, may attempt to increase the illusion through imperfect pronunciation, stuttering, and a more limited vocabulary. Errors such as these help add to the impression of sincerity and spontaneity. Our next technique would be called testimonials. Testimonials are quotations or endorsements, in or out of context, which attempt to connect a famous or respectable person with a product or item. Testimonials are often used in advertising and political campaigns. And then our last technique is called transfer. Transfer is an attempt to make the subject view a certain item in the same way as they view another item, to link the two in the subject's mind. Although this technique is often used to transfer negative feelings from one object to another, it can also be used in positive ways. By linking an item to something the subject respects or enjoys, positive feelings can be generated for it. However, in politics, transfer is more often used to transfer blame or bad feelings from one politician to another, or even to the party itself. As we can see in these two logos, there is no need for words. Both of them have to do with the right thing to do, the right place to go, the right way to go. There is no need to say that thumbs up has to do with the right thing, and that Nike logo is the perfect example of a tick, yes, when something is correctly done. And then our last slide has to do with the sources where all this material was taken from. I hope it clarified a little bit the concepts of propaganda. Thank you very much.